So around 2 years ago today, this was really the time when I started applying to universities. I spent my entire summer researching and getting all the facts and preparing myself to make a really solid application. But something that in retrospect that I look back on now is that I didn't really have the advice that I needed in order to make a super strong application. Well, here I am now 2 years later, and I've spoken to so many students who have applied to some of the top programs, and here are some of the best tips on how you can make a standout university application. So as with any application, the main priority is for you to show off, and applications is probably one of the very few times where it is considered appropriate and should be encouraged to show off. Talk about your experiences whenever you can, talk about the impact that you've made, and tell a story. Don't be afraid to hold anything back, because this is one thing that you want to put your heart on, put your story, and let these recruiters know that, look, this is a person that they want to have at their university. So don't be afraid to show off. Tell them everything about yourself, starting from your experiences, your volunteering, your leadership roles, and also the struggles that you've had growing up as a student, because they love to see you as a human and you as yourself. So even before you start showing off, and actually before even starting your application, you should be doing a lot of thorough research. Make sure you know everything inside and out about this institution, about the program you're applying to, and this really helps you just tailor your application directly towards that specific program. It's going to be really impressive if you have the opportunity to be like, hey, look, I really want to go to this institution and this program because of X, Y, and Z. These are the things that you're looking for. These are the reasons why, and they correlate perfectly. So please accept me. That type of thing only is possible based off of your research. So make sure you do that really well. Spend some time doing that, and also this really helps in interview phases as well, and makes you stand out from all the rest of the applicants. So doing your research is great, but something else that can really help you prepare your application is talking to existing university students who have already been through the application process and are currently studying at this specific program in the institution that you're applying to. This is a great way to gain insights into the program and really see what the culture is like, to see, first of all, is this place a fit for myself? This place I want to be spending the rest of my next 4 years at? And also, you can also gain a lot of knowledge on the application process itself from speaking to university students. And speaking about that, a great resource that you can check out is actually ISN. So ISN is a student-led nonprofit organization that has almost 300 university insights and also a wide selection of resources that you can use, and a lot of them have an individual attached to those insights, and these are people who are willing to help you. So after checking out these blogs and everything on this website, contact them for any other information. And other resources you can use also, like Facebook group chats. If you have LinkedIn, find these people, use them in a good way, and just ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask. So asking questions to university students is great, but I would really expand that to ask questions about anything to anyone, because there's so many times where a lot of my friends or people that I know of have questions about their application, but they're just too scared, they're too shy to ask them, and it jeopardizes the success of their application. And so if you don't know anything, if you are unsure about anything at all, just don't sit there and hold your tail between your legs. Have the confidence to reach out to someone, because there's so many initiatives, so many people who are willing to help you. And also, I'm here to help as well. So if you have any questions about your application process, I will do my absolute best to answer them. So just comment them down below, and I'll try to get back to you as fast as I can. Alright, so you're ready to show off, you did your research, and you're starting to ask people for things that you're unsure about. Now, an important part of your application process is to really just start early. So many people leave their application to the last minute, and trust me, procrastination is not it. Especially if you're taking this big step into the next phase of your life, you really want to submit the best possible application as possible. So make sure you start really early. This allows you gives time for feedback, edits, and if anything pops up, you'll be able to adjust your schedule accordingly so that you still have the opportunity to create a solid application. Alright, so now we talk about the preparation stage. It's time to write your application. I cannot stress to you enough that you have to really just be creative, because that's the only way to stand out from all the other thousands of students who want the exact same position that everyone's gunning for. So let me just give you an example. Over the summer at ISED, we ran an internship program that attracted over 225 individuals from over 7 countries across the world. And I was reading through all of the applications in order to accept these students, and a lot of them actually had very generic responses. So we asked them, like, why do you want to take part of this internship program? And then most of the students, like 90% of the applications read, I want to be part of this program because blah blah blah. And so this is super generic, and there were only like a select few of individuals who really stood out because they didn't start their sentence by that phrase, I want to do this just because of this. Having that little bit of variance, having that little bit of uniqueness to your application really just makes you stand out, and you'll be surprised at how many people don't really do this. So take the time to look at your application, tell a story, be creative, add some personality to it. Don't just be like, okay, I have to be extremely professional, which you should be, but also add a touch of who you are as a person, because in universities they don't want to take people and not just robots. So when applying to university and practically anything at all, there's this really big misconception that quantity is valued more than quality. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but that's absolutely not the case. Quality is way more valued compared to quantity. And what I mean by that is admissions committees really like students who have a few amount of experiences but a longer duration in each one. And ultimately that results in usually a higher impact in each of these experiences. And they prefer these type of students compared to other ones who have like a list of like 10, 12 experiences, but then all of them are very superficial. They're all just general members. You get the picture. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is really just find ways to create impacts in the initiatives that you're in right now. Don't just be a general member and like burn yourself out by joining every single club in school. Take part in a few of them that you're genuinely interested in, so that you'll be able to create impact. You'll have this type of internal motivation to do something positive, a big change in this club or organization that you're a part of. And that shows a lot when you're applying to universities and anything at all. So another way to really improve your application is to diversify your knowledge. If you are, let's say, a science major, don't just solely talk about science and only study science. Make sure you have a little bit of arts, humanities, linguistics, business, engineering. All of these different components of society and frankly education will really help you create a standout application, because in supplementary applications, universities really like to involve real world questions, and they really want to see how you think, how you process information, what your viewpoints are on certain topics. And so if you have a wide array of knowledge from different fields, you'll be able to properly answer these questions. You'll be informed at least well enough to be able to interpret whatever question they ask you, even though it could be super unrelated to your field. And that puts you in an advantage compared to everyone else who only studies the subject that they're applying for. All right, so we got 2 more points. The second last one is to really edit your drafts. In applications, after you start them early, you have a lot of time to edit, and not just yourself edit, but have so many people edit your draft, because this is one thing that you really want to be perfect, or as perfect as possible before you submit it to the universities, because this can potentially decide the course of your next 4 years. So make sure you take the time. If you start early, this won't be a problem, but make sure you take the time to have as many people as you can read over your application, suggest edits, and don't be afraid to do this multiple times. So the last piece of advice that I want to give you, and probably the most important piece of advice, would be to just know yourself. And I highly encourage everyone to spend a lot of time thinking about this, even prior to beginning your application. The reason being is that when we apply to universities and we don't have a clear vision of what we want to get out of it, or why we're even applying there, it makes our application seem very superficial and not authentic. And so once you find your reasons why, like first of all, doing some self-reflection and identifying your values, your morals, what your end goal is, and lining that up with the institution that you're applying to, you're able to tie every piece of your application process together and create a cohesive narrative that is going to sound a whole lot better to the admissions committee. And that makes you like absolutely stand out compared to everyone else. Alright, so those were 10 pieces of advice on how you can make a really solid and standout university application. And before I just let you guys go, I just really want to say good luck to all of you who are applying to universities this year. It is a very crazy time right now to be applying, but trust me, you guys will do absolutely amazing, and I know that you will make the right decisions for the next step in your academic career. If you have any questions at all, or if you want to reach me, all my contacts are in the description, and of course leave comments down below if you have any questions that you would like me to answer, and I'll try to get back to them as soon as possible. All right, everyone stay safe and healthy. I'll see you guys all in my next video.